Good morning. It's a snowy day out there. That's what's outside my window. So it'd be about 9 a.m. So we're February 1st, 9 a.m. We got snow blowers going on. That's what you need here. Or you need, today it's just powdery, but usually you need a shovel, a really good one. Let's see. Yeah, okay. So I've been watching, obviously keeping a close eye on the trucker situation. Here's something interesting here. Look at these two. This is the whole vibe of it, you guys. So regardless what the mainstream media is saying, obviously, it's about the mandates and liberty. Let's unite, not divide. Like, absolutely, right? It's like so not what they're, telling the rest of the world. But, if somebody's smart, they're not listening to the mainstream. Seriously, the people still listening to mainstream, honestly, not that smart. I hate to say it, even though you might love them. It's horrifying how not smart some people are. We're finding out. And I'm like, I've been horrified. Like, people I thought were really bright, or have gone down quite a few in the brightness notches, in my humble opinion. You know what I mean? Doesn't mean I don't love them, but a little bit appalled at the lack of, brights. Yeah, it's quite fascinating. But it did actually create me to know that I was a lot brighter than I thought I was. I was always told I was kind of the dummy because spelling, I'm a terrible speller. Probably had dyslexia in school. But I'm thinking dyslexia is really like refuse to be spellcast by spelling. So there. I think it's, I'm starting to rethink all of those things, and I think people that are supposedly not that bright in school are probably just not programmable by the system. Equals not that, they're not seen as bright in the school. By the way, a lot of people write me and say, you shouldn't put these on, this is not good for cats. Well, I've had cats my entire life, and I've almost never been to a vet. I don't believe in vets for the most part, unless literally they need stitched up or something. Vets are as big a scam as the medical system. I don't go to doctors, so my cats don't go to vets. You know what I'm saying? Unless it's an absolute emergency, which is exactly what doctors are good for. And I'm not saying there isn't some good ones out there. I just personally only met maybe one or two good ones out of lots of doctors I've met. You know what I mean? But you can tell me stories about really good ones. I'm sure there is. And hopefully there's some really good ones watching videos like this. Okay, but if they are really good, they would have quit the medical system, because it's literally deep state. And I got absolutely zero tolerance for it. So even though I know some nurses, if they're still in the nursing business, okay, they need to get out. Get out now while you got a chance. Because, the whole system's corrupt, you guys, and it's going down. And that's my opinion, okay? So that's just my opinion, but it's also what I get in the cards. Anywho, so yes, so the trucker situation. Let's have a look in the cards. What we get around the coming, here, let's just close that. The coming days. Okay, what do we got? I can't get these stains off of this. I'll have to paint that table again. Anyway, let's have a look. Trucker situation, coming days. What do we got? Just didn't get around to putting the rings on yet, guys. It's too early. I don't wear the jewelry to bed, obviously. Then when I get up, it takes me a few hours to get into it. Oh boy. So that's what is that? The 7 of Swords. So we've got 6 swords in the background of that card, and then this 1/7, which is a valor. I think the word's valor. Really old-fashioned word, and it's not just about the word on the card. See that Mars? That Mars is in Leo. Mars in Leo. So if you're an astrologer, Mars in Leo. So that adds further information on the card. So Leo likes to express themselves honestly and just really doesn't buy into somebody else telling them who they are. Okay, that would be the well as expressed Leo energy. And then Mars is fighting and warrior and very out there, right? See that arrow going out there? We are pushing that energy out there. So pushing out the energy of individuality, and that's what that card to me stands for, and uniqueness, which is why even in the Rider-Waite, so that deck, even in that deck, I always think of it as a real individual or a unique situation. So I'm kind of funny with that Seven of Wands, but it can also be about standing for your truth, right? Victory comes, that's why the Six of Wands in the background, and then the one up front that looks different, when you just stick up for your own uniqueness. Excuse me. And that's what the truckers are doing, and or the convoy's all about. So even though it might have been, the conception of it might have been foretold by the bad guys, the good guys took it and made it their own movement. And they didn't turn it into a strike like what was predicted was the truckers would go on strike. Well, they didn't. Some of them are still trucking around. But a whole lot of them are sitting in Ottawa and or outside Ottawa and stuck in various places, depending on what you're hearing. Some of them are even stuck at the Coutts border, but we'll look into that. That's Alberta's border to the US. We'll look into that in a minute because that's could be a problematic over there. But so this is saying they're just a unique bunch with a unique message that isn't like a part of the dark or the deep state's agenda, even though it was maybe foreseen by them as something that could happen. And we saw that with that Illuminati deck, okay, that has a card in it with a trucker strike, but it says the word strike, I think, on it. It doesn't have a convoy, a freedom-loving convoy. That's a whole different. These guys have a different slant on it. So they took that prophecy and turned it into something their own. Now we've got the Three of Swords. So this is the people they're up against. So this is the truckers. This is the government, let's say, of Canada. Okay, so the government of Canada. We know they've been infiltrated, I believe, by the good guys. I believe they've already been taken out. And that card kind of tells me that. That's why I get those ideas, because that card says they're gone. Sorrow, we got sorrow. Yeah, they're gone. But even say that wasn't the case. Say I'm reading that wrong, and we're just talking about they're in big trouble anyway. Look at that card. Okay, the perception of who these people are is greatly being affected in a negative way. See that one sword coming up and splitting those other two? Okay, those two cards and this one sword. So the perception is being pierced by what the truckers are doing. So the uniqueness of the truckers is really hurting how the government look. Not to say they were looking good. By the way, the Canadian government did the very same thing that the Mr. B team did. Whoops, oh, that's two of them. So I gotta put those back and just take the top one off. Oh, that one really wants, that one's like, I want to be seen, I want to be seen. All right, so remember what happened in November to the US, let's call it a competition. Same thing happened in Canada. It's been happening for eons, probably everywhere, but definitely here in Canada, it's not been a fair, let's say, competition. And there's no way that our Mr. T, so Trudeau, could have got in this time. Like, it's absurd. So it's obviously a false situation going on there, right? Yeah, so we're all facing things like that. That's why we're fighting this situation, guys. That's why we're doing what we're doing and why the truckers are doing what they're doing, because we're not being represented here as humans. All over the world, we're not being represented. Everything's stolen from us, our liberty, our, elections, everything. So yeah, things are being taken. Okay, so this is interesting. So the past of the situation. So we've got the Four of Cups. So the four. Okay, so everybody was, so the luxury. So waiting and not doing anything about it. This card's kind of lazy somehow, or talking like not getting their act together, because 4s are kind of stifled, stopped, and or they don't move. You know what I mean? They need a 3 to move. A 5 even can get things moving, but 4s are stuck. Okay, so we got this stuck energy, and this was in the past. Canada was really stuck. It was so hard to live here in the last couple of years because nobody was doing anything about the tyranny. It was so depressing, and getting to be really like all that water just running around and around, that gets old and stale. It was stale. Okay, and the energy there is Moon in Cancer. Now, Moon in Cancer is a good energy, by the way, but if it's badly aspected, it could be really stuck. And it definitely felt really stuck, and everybody was being too careful and emotionally stuck, not doing things, and fearful. Moon in Cancer, there might be fears to that if it's badly aspected. Okay, so here we've got, but then they started, deciding they needed to step up for themselves and or for Canadians and or for humans, for human rights. So that's what they're doing. The government's long, I believe, gone, and there's a shadow government. But if you didn't read it that way and you didn't buy that, then it's at least really being, the perception of who they are is really looking bad. This is going to literally, so the Moon, take the veil off and show you just how corrupt these guys are. If you didn't already know that, the beauty of, and the honesty of, and the valor, I love that old-fashioned word, so the truth of, and the integrity, ones have a lot of integrity, of those truckers is making these guys look really, really bad, and could be the end of them. Because remember, the Moon card's like a death card. It's like a passing over or going into oblivion. It's gonna take these guys right at it. The government is shown for the truly corruptness that it is. Yeah. Okay, and the near future is the Ace. So a rebirth of how we see these guys, like for the truth that they are. How we see Canada, it might not ever look the same again. It might become a whole nother entity, just like the US. I think it will actually with that Ace. Also, that Ace might be, and it's a Pentacles Ace, it might be talking about the new birth of other things coming, like a financial system that's built on metals and is based in something more substantial than falsified paper. You know what I mean? Like something, so there's a new birth coming because of what's going on. Okay, it's going to expose these guys. Okay, so here's what we need to do. So we are the Prince of Cups. Prince of Cups follows their heart. Is that the Prince? Yeah, Prince of Cups. Follows his heart. See, he's got that cup right in front of his heart chakra. So he's holding a cup. He's got that flower pointing downward. So he's just going with his emotional energy and being guided. That bird is guiding him emotionally, right? With all the water in the card, he's being emotionally guided. So we're going to follow our hearts. It's going to be very emotional. Follow our hearts and come into more wisdom. And this is also my galactic helper card. So that's interesting. I think there's galactic help helping us see and move towards this new birth. A new birth is coming. These guys aren't all of doing it, but they're definitely helping tip it. They're the tipping point for sure. So the truckers' tipping point for the new birth of our new Canada. And it might even be called something different. It'll never be the same again with that death card. Death card's never going to be the same. It's a long, slow process, but it's never going to be the same. So here's the advice. Start visualizing, because we've got that 9 of Cups. Whenever I see the 9 of Cups, I want to tell people, you can make a wish. Your wish could come true now, okay? Because everything's going to die to what it's been. And rebirth, right? With that Ace, rebirth, that's a birth card. Okay, but you can have an input. So let's just take that away and just look at that. You can input how it looks by following your heart, thinking about what do you want to manifest, and visualizing your own life in there. Your intention, words, and actions create your destiny. So you have a lot of say right now, people, everybody watching, in how things manifest in the near future. Start visualizing how you want your Canada to look. Let's see if we can find Betty. I know she was. Oh, hey Betty. Hey, oh, he's sleeping. He's sleeping. Hey girl. Hey beautiful, how are you? We love you, Betty. Oh, I love my Betty. I love my Betty. Yeah, one more look at the outside here. Those are my trees that, so I got this one here. She's a feminine. And this one back here is another feminine, I'm feeling. But this is, we got a big, beautiful male over here. And they create this triangle, you see, sort of, right? Because she's further ahead and then these two. And they like to, we have really nice conversations, especially when the wind blows and rustles and moves them. I just get a lot of messages and they're saying, you know what? Don't worry about it. It's just a matter of time. These corrupt energies are going down and anybody's still involved. So if you're still in the medical system and you know that things are going down and you're being told you need to push things that you know in your heart aren't cool, okay? If you see that happening, if you're not brave enough to talk about it in public, get the heck out of the system at least. You will rebirth a new way to work. Okay, there's no, oh, there I am. There's no excuse for doing things that in your heart you know aren't cool. And this is not a time in history to do that. This is not a time to do that just because you want to keep your job, because all of it's going down, you guys, going down anyway. You're gonna be known to be in a corrupt industry. The medical industry's been used by the corrupt governments, and lots of industries are being used, but in particular the medical industry. It's never going to be the same, and nobody's ever going to trust it when all the truth comes out. So you might want to think about that if you're still involved. There's lots of ways you can use your energy that would be put to better use instead of literally being part of a corrupt system that's literally genociding. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching the video, and do like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already.